Hey y'all, what's up? It's Chef Charlie. How y'all doing? Okay, so I just want to come to you guys and first of all, just see how y'all doing. I'm doing good. You know, God is good. I want to share with y'all something that I'm doing and a project that I'm working on. Okay, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've always been around and I've been able to help out. And it's something that, for whatever reason, especially in the year 2020, um, is just really pressed in my spirit to help the homeless, right? So the name of my project, it's a nonprofit project that I'm building out for my nonprofit organization. Um, and I'm pushing it out. It's called Homemade for the Homeless, right? Now, there's a lot of, you know, feed the homeless type of programs, but one thing that I know for sure is there's never too many um too many hands helping, right? Especially in that area. Um this is something that's always been near and dear to my heart from a child. Um from being able to see the homeless, where I live even now. And I if you go back in my Instagram, you'll see that I have, a few years back, um that I even did I partnered with one of my friends, one of my neighbors, and we did we fed the homeless on Mother's Day. And ever since then it's just really been pressed in my spirit to help them. And when you don't necessarily, and when you're not a millionaire or a thousandaire or a hundredaire, uh you know you use your gifts to help where you can. And one of my gifts obviously is cooking. And one thing that I know is that my gift is made to help others and to fulfill others, not just in a physical manner, not in a way that is only to fill your stomach up, but also to fill your spirit, and to give back in that way. So, Homemade for the Homeless is a nonprofit project that I'm building out. And I'm just starting in my neighborhood. I'm just starting with the few people that live at the park and at the bus stops around where I shop and where I live. Um on any given weekend, any given Sunday, there's anywhere from 8 to 12 homeless people. Some of them are holding signs saying, we'll work for, and they live, outside in the park and at the bus stops with buggies and everything like that. Now, I'm so grateful that our state and a lot of states do provide them with food, with the ability to buy food. They give them an EBT card. Now, I don't know how much is on the EBT card or how much they get monthly or whatever. So, sure, they're not starving, right? However, you know, at a job that I worked, it became clear to me that even though they're not starving, they they don't have a home cooked meal. They don't have a way to warm it up. You know, where I was working at the time, there was a homeless woman who came in and asked to use the microwave in the restaurant that I was working in. And I guess the managers of my job at the time had issues with her or with other homeless people asking to use the microwave. And so they had said a strict no on the use of the microwave, right? Nobody can use the microwave other than, the employees for whatever we're cooking or however. So before she ever came in, this is my first time ever having an experience like this, but before she ever came in, my managers had laid down the law. Nobody uses the microwave but the people in the kitchen, right? For what we're doing here in this business. And so I'm usually about a book. If my manager says do this, I'm gonna do it. Obviously, you know. And so a lady came in and she had a plate of food and she asked me to warm it up. Or she was buying something and she asked me to warm it up. And immediately I was like, oh, no, 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 no. You can't use the microwave. You know, in my mind, I'm like, my boss told me, you know, that this would happen, right? And her eyes filled with tears. Like, she started bawling, crying. She said, ma'am, I'm homeless. I don't have a microwave. I don't have a way to warm up my food. And then it clicked to me, and she used the microwave that day. I was like, all right, you can use the microwave, no problem. But it became clear to me that even though they're not starving, they're people, you know, they're people, and they, you know, deserve and they appreciate a nice, warm, home cooked meal. Every now and then, every Sunday. And so for the last few Sundays in the month of December, I've personally made Sunday dinner and taken it to them, hot plates, right? Because even though they have that EBT card, you know, I see a lot of them with Lunchables, right? I see a lot of them. I saw this one lady one day, she had a full gallon of milk. She bought a full gallon of milk and a box of cereal. She was in the mood for cereal and milk that day. But when I saw the milk sitting on the curb, I said to myself, how is she going to refrigerate this milk? You know, how is she going to keep the milk from spoiling? And it wasn't wintertime. It wasn't like it was cold outside where the milk would last, right? It was in the summer, I believe, either the summer or the spring. It was hot. And my first thought was, how is she going to refrigerate the milk? How is she going to keep it cold so she can eat more cereal if she wants? And the answer to the question is she doesn't have access to a refrigerator. So what that means is that milk is going to spoil eventually, and she'll have to buy another gallon of milk. You know, and it made me very sad. And so that's why for the last a few Sundays ago, I did a Sunday dinner for the homeless in my neighborhood. Anywhere from, you know, 8 to 12 homeless people that live like that I see consistently in the area that I lived. And so I made dinner and I took it to them. And then I did it again this past Sunday. And it made me feel like I was doing something. I've been working in kitchens. I've been working, you know, in the restaurant industry. I've been cooking for people for so many years, y'all. But nothing made me feel more fulfilled and more gratitude than to cook for these people. Somebody who cannot give me nothing in return. Somebody who can't pay for a plate of food. And so I've been using my own personal funds, you know, for it. And I want to get to the point where I can do this for them every Sunday. I can give them a hot plate, you know, a Sunday dinner, you know, every Sunday. And so I'm asking for you guys to help. I'm not begging, you know, and I'm not putting too much pressure on you, but I will say this. Giving, even out of your need, even when you don't have everything you need, giving to others, somehow it just brings abundance into your life. You know, not somehow, you know, that's a biblical principle. Give and it shall be given. Give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over to. See what the Lord do it for you. I love that song, right? So yes, like if you want to see personal growth in any area of your life, start to give. Start to give in small ways. It don't have to be nothing big. And there's a lot of people who don't, they have issues with, giving money to churches and tithing and all of those things. Those are issues, personal hang-ups of people. But it doesn't have to be to a church. I'm going to provide my Cash App at the bottom of this video. And I want you guys to give towards the Homemade for Homeless project that I'm doing in my neighborhood. In the future, there'll be other ways to give. But for now, Cash App is the way that I'm using until we grow. And if you don't have money to give, that's okay. There's other ways to give. If you live in the New Orleans area, you can DM me. If you have my number, text me. And just drop off some food. Just buy some cornbread. This past Sunday, what on the menu was red beans and rice with smoked sausage, with smoked turkey sausage, and cornbread. That's what was on the menu for this past Sunday. So get like the big 6-pack of cornbread and drop it off. Canned goods, whatever. Another way to give or to help is just to volunteer. Volunteer to help me pass out the food. If you don't live in the same area that I live in and there are homeless people, in your area that would appreciate a nice hot plate on a Sunday, DM me and put in your order for how many plates you need. And then come pick them up and then take them to the people in your neighborhood. There's so many ways to help. There's so many ways to give. And I'm open to all of those ways for helping with this project. If you have Cash App, stop what you're doing right now and just give $1. If y'all know me, y'all know that I know how to stretch $1. I know how to budget. I know how to make enough food, to help and to feed people. That is my passion. So help me push my passion out and help me to help people who don't have. This is something that's really near and dear to my heart, and it makes me very emotional because it's something that I know is purposeful in my life, but I'm offering you guys a way to invest into that purpose, right? Supplies, okay? Supplies such as the to-go trays. You can drop those off if you want to just buy a bunch of those to-go trays. Like go to Sam's or whatever and get the big pack of it of like 100, and then get some cutlery. So these are the ones that I purchased with my personal funds, and I found that, my funds are not enough. My personal funds, which I'll bankroll it and I'll make what I can and I'll give what I can. But if you guys help, it will be an even bigger impact, right? So see these right here, I rolled it up in paper towel and paper napkins, but guess what? We can get the cutlery that's already packaged with the napkin inside. But give what you can. Give what you can. I use a sheet of wax paper over the trays to separate the food, first of all to cover the food, and then to separate the food from, say, the dessert. The other few Sundays ago when I did it, I covered it and there was cake. There was a vanilla cake for dessert. So obviously, you're gonna separate the cake and the cutlery and the fork, the knife, and the napkin away from the actual food itself. So if you want to drop off some to-go trays, some cutlery, some napkins, some paper towels, all of that helps. So please just DM me and let me know how you're going to help. My Cash App is, I'm going to put my Cash App at the bottom of this video so that you guys can give, and that way give $1. And if you're feeling, very, gracious, give 2. And if you got it, give 10. And if you got to give 25, and so on and so on. If you're a thousandaire, give 100. All right. And I will post, the grand total of how much people give. And it'll be put towards using it for homemade for the homeless. Right. Also, we have to remember that these homeless people are people. They have traditions, they have culture. And so on my heart to give is, I'm feeling like I want to do tamales, because not all of the homeless people are Black people, who can appreciate, greens or red beans and rice or whatever, soul food, which I'm sure they'll be grateful for it. But at the same time, remembering that they have culture as well. So there's Hispanic people who are homeless, in other cultures. There are homeless people with special diets. I met a homeless person who's vegan. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to talk with these people and get their stories. They're not, just anybody. These people have stories. They have culture. They have, they have stories. And so talk to them. Get what I'm saying? They have special diets and certain things like that. So yeah, like homelessness is not always a choice. Like some people lose their things. And this year in 2020, a lot of people have lost a lot. Right? And I personally don't have everything I need. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, giving from a place of full abundance where all my bills is paid. Like 2020 was a hard year for me too. So imagine if I am living in a house, and I have food to eat. Imagine what 2020 was like for them. So these people, they're losing their house, their homes, they're losing their cars, they're losing these things, but the way they eat doesn't change. If someone goes vegan, it's for a reason, a deeper reason than just I can afford to be vegan, right? So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, provide a vegan option for the homeless, absolutely. And I want to do tamales. I feel it really heavy on my heart to do tamales, because these people have culture, just like I was saying. So Hispanic people, a lot of times they like a good tamale, right? And they do it during the holidays, like right now, Christmas and New Year's and stuff like that is when they usually like to do a good tamale or whatever. So I want to do tamales for Christmas, those type of things, right? And just acknowledging that they're people, acknowledging their culture, acknowledging their dietary needs and their health needs, and just somebody to listen to them, to hear their story, and so that's what we'll be doing. So, you can volunteer to take pictures, because I took some pictures, and I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to post the pictures, but the pictures are not good pictures. Like, they're not good pictures at all, because I'm doing all of it. I'm cooking, I'm making the place, and I'm trying to get the food out to them in a timely manner by a certain time, right? So even though I did take a few pictures, they're not really good pictures. They're not really good angles. But you can volunteer to take pictures. You can volunteer to be a videographer, drop off food, Cash App, take the food to the people that's near you, whatever it is. I'm going to end this video for 20 minutes, y'all, but I just want y'all to help out where you can, give where you can, and remember that as you give, you are inviting abundance back into your life in so many ways and in so many areas. So like I said, my Cash App will be at the bottom of this video. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all so much. This is coming from the Chef's Floor Food Co. And we're doing a nonprofit homemade for the homeless project. I love you guys very much. Thank you in advance.